Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's episode is going to kind of be like a conglomerate of stuff. We're just gonna chill. It's been a crazy week and I'm ready for the weekend. I don't know if you guys are feeling that too. Before we get into today's book, though, I want to talk to you about these two books that I was just sent. One of them I knew that I was being sent, but the other one just showed up today. And I was like, thank you. So the one that I got last week, it's called Once More from the Top by Emily Layden. That's what it looks like. I don't think it's being released for a while. Let's see, they always send. Somehow I got on this PR list, and I don't know how, but I'm very grateful. It comes out September 10th, so in a couple weeks, actually. And it's Emily Layden's debut novel. Let's see. Oh, no, this is her second novel. Once More from the Top. Layden creates an intimate portrait of a young global pop star and the dark secret from her childhood that has fueled and informed her songwriting, her music, and her performance, as well as her ambitions and desires. And then Dylan Reed is a modern day musical legend who spent the last 15 years in the public eye learning to craft and maintain the perfect good girl persona. Oh, Dylan is the girl. Oh, and then, yeah, Layla creates it. Okay, that makes more sense. Interesting. Okay, so is this like kind of a thriller? They said anyone who's loved a novel by authors like Curtis Sittenfeld, Taylor Jenkins Reid, or Megan Abbott is currently in development at Lionsgate. Oh, the book is. Oh, okay, fun. So there's that one. And then the one that I got today is called Drop Dead Sisters by Amelia Diane Coombs. This one sounds interesting because I think it's about like three sisters that are killers, maybe? Remy Finch has spent the better part of her adult life avoiding family, especially her sisters. They just don't click. Besides, her unconventional upbringing and major anxiety have convinced Remy that she can't build a relationship with anyone, period. When her parents plan a family reunion camping trip to celebrate their anniversary, Remy's willing to reconnect, if only because she doesn't have a choice. But then a dead body turns up at their campsite and their sisterly bond kicks into high gear. No one knows the whole story, but the Finch women are prepared to cover up the pieces before anyone tries to put them together. It's a precautionary measure, probably unnecessary. Nobody else was there, so how could they have seen anything? Between old grudges and new dynamics, a handsome park ranger, okay, and a body that won't stay hidden, Remy is about to learn that nothing strengthens family ties quite like crime. Fun! Okay, this one comes out in November, though, so you'll have to wait a little bit longer for that. And then I just bought Done and Dusted by Lila Sage, which you know I'm obsessed with. Both books that came out, but I only have the physical copy of the second one because that's one that she signed. So I was like, obviously I have to get the other one. Okay, where's even all my stuff? I read a book yesterday, actually, and I had to call my best friend Kat like midway through because I didn't know how to feel. And I still don't. And I'm going to describe this book to you. There's not a lot of twists because you kind of know this is going to happen. But I just want you to be aware that this is a very heavy, dark romance. But not like dark romance like the main female character and main male character do like really like dark romance type things. This is like the subject matter and what happens to the characters is dark and they are like trauma bound. It's called Still Beating by Jennifer Hartmann, and I just heard about this book the other day on TikTok. And the TikToker even said like, hey, there's this type of content, which there's rape, but it's not like it's not described. Like the scenes aren't described. Just like simple sentences that you kind of infer that it happened. And then like in the chapter later, the main female character is like, yes, I was raped. I hate saying that word, but I don't even know another word for it. So that's what this book is about, where she has her sister, and they're almost in their 30s, and they are out at a bar for her sister's birthday. And her sister's fiance is there, and his name is Dean. The girl, Cora, and Dean don't get along. They never have. Dean and the sister have been together since high school sweethearts, 15 years. Like, they're now engaged, and Cora and Dean just, they still don't get along. Like, they play pranks on each other. He, like, bullied her in school. So she's always just, like, hated him, and she's assumed that he's hated her. And so they're at this bar, and Dean and the sister leave, and then Cora stays there, and then it's like 2 in the morning, and she can't get an Uber, and there's this like creepy guy that walks up to her outside of the bar, and she describes him as like John Wayne Gacy type, like the serial killer. And so she calls everyone that she can, and they don't answer, and so she calls Dean, and he comes and picks her up. And as he like gets out of the car for her, and she's like walking towards him, and like the creepy guy is like, "Hey, is this your girl?" And he immediately, Dean is like, "No, absolutely not. Like, she's not my girl." And so they get in the car, and they're driving, and then there's like these strobing lights, and it doesn't describe it as like red and blue lights, but they like pull over anyways. And as her and Dean are kind of like arguing a little bit, the side window gets like crushed, like crunched, and she gets pulled out of the car, like pretty much out. And Dean is holding onto her legs, and he's like trying to punch this person, and this person like reaches in and like hits him on the head and like knocks him out. And then so she gets pulled out, gets knocked out. Both her and Dean wake up in this basement, and it's that John Wayne Gacy guy that he like kidnapped them. Yeah, you can kind of infer what happens. So obviously a lot of trauma happens. At one point, the guy, the serial killer guy, he admits to other serial killers. Apparently he's known as the matchmaker, where he sees like a certain relationship in public, and the two people either don't like each other or like they're not together, and he kidnaps them and slowly makes them like fall in love, which, or like trauma love. So with Cora and Dean, at one point this serial killer guy makes Dean have sex with her. And she tells him, because he's always like, "I'm so sorry." It's like it's very, very heavy. It's a very heavy book, but also you just like feel so much for them. It was heartbreaking. Like, this whole book was heartbreaking. I don't know how I feel about it still, because eventually they do start to have feelings for each other, and then they are able to escape and like kill the guy. And then they have that trauma shared. They are the only ones that really understand each other. And so they are trying to come to peace with everything. And like, and Dean is actually like, he kind of sinks into a hole for a little bit, and he actually like breaks up with the sister because he's in love with Cora. And Cora, like, she is going through a lot. She's like, "I can't do this with my sister." Goes through a lot. Like, I don't want to, like, she just goes through a lot. She goes through a lot. I'll just say, she goes through a lot. And it's just heartbreaking. And it is like, you see the growth in these characters, and that's why I kept reading this book, because you just root for them, and you feel their pain, and you just like hope for the best, and just you're with them, and you want to like encourage them, and anyways, so yeah, they go through quite a bit together, and Dean gets help, and he starts to really like work through everything. And at one point, like, Cora is just, she's so in the hole. She's so buried. She's so consumed that it's like, it's really affecting her. And he's like, "Hey, I'm going to take a step back. Like, you need to get help. I'm going to take myself out so then you don't feel like you need to rely on me. Like, I'm here for you. Our hearts are still beating, which is really beautiful how like the title of the book comes into play. It's very, very beautiful. And so he actually moves like 3 hours away, and there's like an 8 month break, and then they like see each other, and she's doing so much better. She like got help and everything, but just like their journey from when they get kidnapped, because they were kidnapped for like 20 days. It's a lot. So through that, and then being able to escape, but also it's kind of like comforting. I'm sure it's comforting to them to know that the serial killer's dead, because Dean is the one that actually like killed him. But just like the growth from when they escape and then when they start to like readjust with their life, and how they find themselves again and how they reach out, and it's just a beautiful journey. Like, it was kind of a quick book, but I felt like there weren't any holes in the plot. I didn't feel like anything was rushed, but I also didn't feel like there was any drag. Like, the pacing was so good. I genuinely felt for these characters, like they were very likable. And then I don't even think I said, but obviously Dean and Cora fall in love, and they are get together, and the sister finds someone new, and it's good, and it ends up happy, but it does start. And I would say the first half of the book is when they are in the basement. So it's not like you can really skip the whole basement scene. You could definitely skim through it and get like the main portions, and you can kind of infer what does happen. They play a lot of like 20 questions with each other, her and Dean, and so they really get to know each other, and go through like, hey, why did you treat me like this? Why did you do this? And all that. And so they work through everything, and it was a surprise. This book was very surprising, because I honestly didn't know what I was going into. Like, we know TikTok suggestions. Sometimes they really are like, what am I doing? But this one was good. It was really good. I recommend it. If you like dark romances that are kind of traumatic, then you would really like this book. Yeah. Yeah. It was good. I don't know if I'm going to read more of this author's books, just because I don't know the content of them, if that makes sense. Like, I'm going to obviously look, because I really liked her writing. I really liked how she did everything. And so I want to read more from her. I just really need to look in like what's in the books, because I can't do heavy stuff like this very often. I really can't. I really can't. So we're going to see what's next, and just go from there. So anyways, follow me on wherever you stream like your podcasts, and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to a certain amount by October. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers by October, and I'm close. So share this with all your book friends, with your book clubs. I want to be part of your book clubs. I'm not in any book clubs, so invite me to your book clubs, because actually I'm kind of in a family one. Anyways, invite me. I'm here. And let's talk about books. So put your comments in the comments, and I'll talk to you next week.